Hi, my name's Glenn. This is Karen, my wife, and this is our bus. Hello everyone, Glenn Dimnon here, working on the bus, of course, because working on the bus is a lot of fun and I truly enjoy doing it. And so I'm working on my dinette, and I've already kind of started on the thing here. I've made a few changes. I was going to have my, similar to my countertop over here, where my countertop was going to go all the way to the glass. I wanted to have my table also go all the way to the glass, but it just didn't work out because I want to build a table, a dinette, that has a leaf in it that would fit in at the back. And so I could pull the main part of the table out, put the leaf in it, and anyway, it just started getting too complicated with the leaf having to fit up inside between the window jambs and stuff like that. So I decided to raise the windowsill up, and I put this maple in here, and it looks pretty good for now. And so I raised it up about 4 inches, and now my table at the standard height of 30 inches tall to the top, which is a standard height for a table. So that'll now butt up to this just about here. So I'll still get a good, I'll still be able to see this nice maple here pretty good. Anyway, so being that it's going to butt up to the wall instead of going up inside the window area, then it's just going to simplify how I'm going to build it. So I'm going to basically have a single leg in the middle. This is not it. This is just, I've just made this just for kind of sizing this stuff up. But so have a single leg about here. And so the table is going to be 32.5 inches wide. And it's only going to come out about 30 inches. But my leaf is about 10 inches. So that's going to give me a 40-inch table that you could easily sit 4 people at. There's plenty of room for plates on each side and food sitting in the middle and stuff like that. So it's really a nice sized table, and that's kind of the benefit of converting a 45-foot bus. Is I've really found that extra 5 feet just made a huge difference in this bus in having lots of room. So I've got a piece for this that I got from my son. He works at a boat place where they sell new boats and work on old boats and stuff like that. And so he got me this piece. It's a really nice piece of anodized aluminum. And it's a little bit hardware-ish because it has some holes and stuff in it, but it's a pretty nice piece. So it's a good 1/4 inch thick piece, and it's very, very heavy. And so what I plan to do, I'm going to use this for my solitary table leg. So I'll just put it where the holes are towards the back or whatever, and it'll be fine. I'm really excited about it. What the best part is the fact that I can use something my son gave me. He brought it to me and he goes, "Hey Dad," he says, "see, here's a piece we had to take off of a bus or a boat to install some new part or something." And it's like it's one of those exchange parts, you know, you take the one off, put the new one on. So he had this left over, and the guy where he works, he says, "Hey, maybe your dad can use this piece in his bus." And so that was just like a couple of days ago. So since then, I've already devised a plan for it. And so I think it's going to work really nice. So it's nice and narrow. And the table, being that the table is going to be 32 inches wide or 32.5, then this won't be a knee hitter at all. So it's going to be plenty clear of that. It's narrower than your typical pole that they usually put in the floor in RVs and stuff. So, and then it's going to be pretty stable because it has this extra width to it. I'm not sure how I'm going to fasten it yet, but what I am going to do is I'm going to install this thing so that the leg itself stays stationary all the time, even though I'm going to have a table leaf that slides out, because I don't want to have the leg sliding across the floor back and forth every time you put the leaf in it and messing the floor up. So the leg will be stationary. So that'll be fastened to the hardware under the table. And so I've been working on that, and I've kind of devised this setup here I got this really nice oak here from a friend of mine. He works at the dump, and he got me this old bed frame that they had. I told him, I said, hey, if you get any extra, just any kind of hardwood or something at the dump, let me know. And within a couple of days, he brought me this bed frame, and I went ahead and just busted it apart. So I went ahead and cut it up. And so what I plan on doing here is, this is all still in the prototype stage. So basically, it's kind of rounded on one side. I'm going to go ahead and leave that since it's kind of nice for underneath the table, if that'll sit up there. So I've got these drawer glides here that a friend of mine gave me, and they're pretty heavy duty, and they don't have the throws what I'm using in the rest of the bus, so I couldn't really use them anywhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and use these in between these pieces of wood here. So basically, this will go in between, and then I'll be able to slide one out for my 10-inch extension, or however big I make that. And then it can go back again, and it'll be fastened to that drawer glide. So I think this is going to work pretty well. So the center will be stationary. It'll be fastened to the wall, fastened to the leg, and the hardware that I build for the leg, I'll probably weld something up out of steel. And then the outside part will slide out, and then the leaf will sit across the back up against the window. So I think that's a pretty good method here, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of assemble a prototype, if you will, and see how that works out. So we'll see how that goes. These are the other two pieces that I'll make just like that one there when I get ready to do that, provided that my first prototype here works out. I've already got these holes marked, and this piece here is really interesting because it's almost like it's made for an RV. It actually, when you slide it shut, it actually fits over this rubber piece here, and it kind of snaps into place. So I can't imagine using something like that for a house. So it must have been made for an RV already. So it works really well, and I think it's going to lend itself well to this table application. That oak is pretty hard. I better drill it to full depth. Now this is kind of a work in progress. I haven't fully thought all this stuff through yet. That screws. A bit bigger than those other ones. So there's this little lever you have to be able to get to here in order to take this thing apart. So I'll have to reach in there with a screwdriver. Do that or rethink my whole plan. It might be a bit of a challenge after this whole thing is built. I'm afraid once I put that in there, I won't be able to get it apart. I guess I could. Okay, so I've got these assembled now, and what I ended up doing was I put the slides 6.5 inches in from the end, which enables me now to be able to slide it apart here and get to the little lever here to be able to disassemble it. So I've done that. Another thing I realized too that I needed to do was I needed to mount it so that the side that's stationary is lower than the side that has the table fastened to it. That way when it's sliding in and out, it isn't rubbing up against here. And there may be something to this about having some kind of support out here. But by the time it comes out a little bit, it has a little bit of play out here, and then it does become even here. So I think that's going to lend itself to have an additional support out here. But overall, the slide is only going to come out 10 inches anyway, so there really isn't a whole lot to be concerned with there. Anyway, so that's it for the slides here. I'll see how all this works. Of course, it's still a work in progress, but we'll see how the whole thing comes out. So I thought I'd show a little close-up of what I got going here. I've taken this 1.5 inch steel. This piece of anodized aluminum is just slightly less than 1.5 inches across on the inside. So I took some 1.5 inch steel and I squished it down and grinding the two high spots off of the sides. Now it fits in there really tight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shove both of these in there on both sides of this thing, like so. I don't know if this one fits yet. It's kind of hot to handle yet. Anyway, but I might have to take a little more off. But I'll shove those both down inside about halfway. Then I'm going to weld a piece of channel on there, which is actually a piece that came out of the bus. This piece of channel right here. I'll take this piece and cut about 1.5 feet off of it. Then I'll weld those two tubes to it while it's sitting in the aluminum. That way I'm sure it'll fit. Otherwise, sometimes you weld things and they start twisting up on you. So then I can shove that down on here. And then I'll cut that to length so it'll fit between these two pieces of wood. And I'll put some flanges on the ends so that I can screw or bolt those to the sides. Actually, probably back about here. That'll connect this leg to the tabletop. So we'll see how that works. I'll show that probably when it's done. Okay, so I've got the dinette table mounted to the wall. The table ends up, now that's if I keep it at this size. Once I put the laminate on it, of course, then that'll determine everything. And I still have to put my maple around the edge and stuff like that, just like the kitchen countertop. So if I leave it with a 10-inch leaf, then I'll have a 40-inch table by the time I have the 3/4 inch maple on there. 40 inches by, and again, by the time I put the maple on, it'll be about 32.5 inches or so wide. So that is a pretty huge table, I think, for an RV. So, so just to kind of show you what I did here to mount it. So I just hope that the 12 or 14 hours that I have into this thing does it justice in the video. I didn't videotape the whole thing, but basically the post down below stays stationary. I've got the post sitting on what'll be the finished flooring height, and I've got it mounted to the wall here. So the way this will work is you know, of course, you pull that out, and I'll put some of those alignment pieces in here like a typical table leaf would. So that comes out. And I've got this maple here screwed to the bottom of this maple, and then these oak pieces are screwed in from below into that piece. So it's pretty well secured. So basically, the post down below stays in place, as you can see here, but the table goes ahead and slides. That way the leg isn't coming out and scratching the floor and stuff like that. So I'll probably actually mount that to the floor after I get the finished floor in. So with the table all the way up against the wall, without the leaf, is about 30 inches out and about 32.5 inches wide. Plenty of room for 2 people. And then if we want to add the leaf, all we have to do is just slide it out, put the leaf in there, then push it back. I was thinking about even just maybe putting a spring in there just right, so you pull it out, drop the leaf in it, just spring loads it back. That way if you leave the leaf in, you're driving down the road, then the spring should keep it tight where it's not bouncing around or whatever, or some kind of a latching mechanism, or just about anything like that would work. But I really like the way this came out. I like the post. I like the fact that my son got me that from his work, and I was able to MacGyver that together. And so to just look at underneath here, I've got the screws on the sides here going into each piece of oak. I've got the slides in, and those are easy enough to pull out a little bit further. I can take those apart, take the whole table off, and then I've got that piece at the back fastened to the wall. Got my windowsill in, which this windowsill is actually just sitting here. This top piece is. I went ahead and just put it behind there just to give it some extra strength. Actually, I don't even know if I'll even fasten this down. I might just leave it the way it is. I don't know, maybe it'll warp up or something if I don't. I don't know, I haven't really decided yet. But I still have to trim out the window here and put my trim on and put my wall coverings on and all that kind of stuff. But I think this is a pretty good start to the dinette. So now I'll go ahead and put my maple edging on and get this ready for laminate. And so then I just have yet to make my my wife's vanity in the back here. That'll be in this corner here. There'll be a pretty good sized vanity here for her with a mirror and a top and everything, and she'll like that. And then I'm also thinking about using that same laminate. I want all these laminates to match, so I'm thinking about using that same laminate for a small counter space right here to kind of divide off the dining room from the living room, and I could put coffee and stuff like that in it and cover it up above. I got to do something with this thing. That'll have to be removable, so I don't know how the coffee will work unless I just put an outlet up in my other cabinet that I would have there. Anyway, so I want the laminate to match there, and then the piece that I make for the television and the elevator, the TV elevator thing, that'll also have the same laminate. That way all this laminate here will match all the way through the bus. So that's the idea there. And so I'm not going to make any more video on this table for now. I'm going to go ahead and do that other work to it, and then I'll just show the finished progress of the whole kitchen, I suppose. Or maybe I'll show actually putting the laminate on these things, and then that'll probably conclude this video. So anyway, so we'll see how that goes, and so we'll have one more video on the actual laminate. But as far as the building the dining room table goes, that's the end of this video. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.